Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we are looking at a gun that only serves one purpose, and that purpose is fun. On our channel we like to spread the word about being purposefully armed, of having a gun for any situation that might arise. We normally talk about guns for self-defense or life and liberty, and the AK-V doesn't fit into any of those categories, but it is an absolute blast to shoot. Let's take a quick look at the AK-V that we are shooting in today's video. Everything is completely stock on this gun, and we are shooting it with iron sights because, why not? On the muzzle, we have a linear compensator device that is actually produced by Palmetto State Armory. The idea of this linear compensator is that it prevents muzzle climb because it pushes the gases directly out and thus pushing the gun directly back into your shoulder. Now, I'm not really convinced on that as far as 9mm goes, but maybe it works. I don't know. Anyways, we have a 10.5-inch nitrided barrel with a 1 in 10 twist in case anyone cares, and we have pretty standard AK sort of pistol iron sights. This particular AK-V has Magpul MOE furniture on both the handguard and the pistol grip. These are completely interchangeable with any other sort of AK-V style parts. In fact, if you're curious about other parts, you can check out Palmetto State Armory's website and find a ton of AKVs in different variations with different furniture. A couple things I actually really enjoy about this AK. Number one is the safety selector. There's an additional ledge on the selector which allows you to actuate it with your index finger, which is a super huge benefit. You don't have to take your hand off of the pistol grip to adjust the safety selector, so that's definitely a huge plus. Now, of course, this isn't an ideal safety in my opinion. I think pretty ideally you have a safety kind of like an AR, but for an AK, this is a pretty awesome safety selector. Another thing I really enjoy about this is this little finger notch here, so that you can actuate the safety with your trigger finger instead of having to take your whole hand off of your pistol grip to move the safety down. Also, the safety is actually really smooth on this. Like it's very smooth. It's not stiff like a lot of other AKs. Another pretty awesome feature is the bolt hold open on this. Now, most AKs don't have a bolt hold open. The bolt just goes home every single time. Doesn't matter if you're on an empty mag or not. With some AKs, you can get magazines that have last round bolt hold opens, but they're built into the magazine. So as soon as you take the magazine out for a magazine change, you still have to rack the bolt back to pick up a new round. With the AK-V, you have an actual 100% functional bolt catch. This bolt catch will keep the bolt locked to the rear even with a magazine out of the gun, and you have a bolt release right on the side of the mag well to aid in quicker reloading via dropping your bolt with this button instead of having to reach around and pull the charging handle. This bad boy actually has a bolt release, so our bolt is locked to the rear. We actually have a bolt release right here. So I push that down, the bolt is now home and it's ready to shoot. Now, while we're on the topic of reloading, one thing that I found very annoying is that new magazines tend to stick in the mag well. The black mag that I'm using in this video is a relatively older mag that came with the gun whenever I first got it, and it drops free pretty easily. But the new purplish sort of color, plum colored mags that I have, they tend to stick in the gun, which is a huge detriment to the reloading, to be honest. I've not put thousands of rounds through it, but it's probably had a good 700-800 rounds through it, which is by no means good for a review, but this is just sort of an overview. Now let's talk about the purpose of this gun and why someone would choose it. Now, we honestly don't think there's much of a reason other than just having a fun gun to take to the range. Now, that's a valid argument for a lot of people, but some people want to have a very specific purpose and outline for their firearms whenever they buy them. This is not something I would consider great for home defense or self-defense or life and liberty or anything like that. Not necessarily because it comes from Palmetto State Armory, but because I just don't find a lot of validity in a PCC. With that being said, I do know some guys who would prefer to run PCCs in a home or building, and I guess that's up to them. It's their own prerogative. One thing I found that makes this gun pretty useful and really serves a bigger purpose than just having fun, it's a great gun to allow new shooters to shoot. Number one, it's a 9mm, so it doesn't have a ton of recoil, so there's no sort of iffiness with a new shooter and recoil. Number two, it's a 9mm, which is relatively cheap to shoot. And number three, it's a pretty sweet looking gun, and a lot of people would be very, very excited to be able to use that kind of gun on a range. I honestly find it as almost kind of a gateway gun, not just into AKs, but also into the gun world. Another sort of great hypothetical, I guess, is in the event of a catastrophic apocalypse, this gun would actually serve a pretty decent purpose. You could give it to a new guy or someone you don't like a whole lot, and it's just a cheap, sort of easily accessible, just easy to use gun. But really, that's sort of far-fetched, no? So if you have $1,000 hole burning in your pocket, and you've already got all the guns that you want, and you've got your night vision, your thermals, and your kit, and you're a cool LARPer boy, well, this might be a fun gun to get if you just want something that is gonna just be a great range toy, a good conversation piece if you're into that kind of thing. Or if you just like that sort of look of a firearm. So we'll leave the decision up to you. Should you get an AKV? Not if you're planning on using it for anything more than just a fun range toy. That's it. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope that you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one.